Talking about teams that hit a nail on a head. Guys, we're going to shift gears to the NBA because last night at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, yes, Brand, I saw a notification that Kevin Durant was being sent to the Phoenix Suns. Now, of course, little old me, J. Ray, that's a Nets fan, was disappointed, but I understood the assignment. The return for the Brooklyn Nets, four first round picks, all unprotected, a fifth pick swap in 2028, Cam Johnson, who is going to be extended this summer, Jay Crowder, who could be reworked by 3 o'clock today to a team that's in need of a tone setter, and Jay hasn't played this year, and Mikal Bridges in that same deal. But in return, the Nets aren't just getting Kevin Durant, they're getting back TJ Warren. And a day yesterday of total reunion. Josh Hart goes back to the Knicks to team up with his former college teammate who won an NCAA championship with and Jalen Brunson. We have TJ Warren going back to play Devin Booker in Phoenix, and then we have Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, and Patrick Beverley reuniting. Malik Beasley too in Los Angeles. We'll talk about that trade in a moment, in an instance.
You jump at the gun.
I am, but it was a really cool thing I noticed. Are the Suns now favorites in the Western Conference to make it out? And what does this say about this franchise with new ownership in Matt Ishbia coming in just a day ago, hitting the kill shot in less than 24 hours? How about it, man?
Man, they probably undebatably have the best starting five in the Western Conference now. You got the point guard, you got the guard, you got the big, and you throw in Kevin Durant. I don't think it's much of a competition when we're talking about starting fives, at least. Now it's about you did lose some very big pieces. Whereas if you had Kevin Durant on a free agent deal and you added him to that roster, then yeah, easily Suns are your number one favorite. But they still have some pieces to fill. Cam Johnson's a good player. Bridges is a very good player. Once you fill those pieces, this Suns team is probably the scariest team in the Western Conference next to Denver. So, yeah, I think the Suns have legit finals contender. They're legit finals contender material. And Kevin Durant should be the happiest man on the planet that he got tossed in a position where he gets to play with Chris Paul in the biggest stage. And this is something that Chris Paul has lacked. Somebody like Kevin Durant on his side.
Mm-hmm.
A supernova star wing? Because he does have Devin Booker as a top 15 player and arguably the best shooting guard in the league.
And now you get probably the greatest offensive talent of all time also to boot. So I would say straight up, I think the Suns will be a lock for the Western Conference Finals. It's just a matter of time to see the mesh. Kevin Durant get healthy, put them on the floor together. It's time to go.
Yeah. For me, they instantly have the best. They have the best big four in all of basketball now. But in terms of talent, I'll just focus on the West for right now. I see Denver can match up with them pretty well in terms of. I'm strictly talking talent right now. Denver can match up with them talent wise.
Clippers.
The Clippers fully healthy can match up with them talent wise, especially if they go make a move. Golden State fully healthy can match up with them talent wise. I believe New Orleans fully healthy can match up with them talent wise. And then the Lakers, again, in theory, fully healthy should be able to match up with them talent wise. It does make them pretty big favorites in the West right now. I'm going to see. I think it's going to mesh pretty damn well. It's not like KD is a real ball stopper. He kind of went into that the Golden State situation pretty seamlessly. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup to guard because you still got people are forgetting you still got DeAndre Ayton down low too, who is a 20 and 10 guy. I know he's quote unquote underperformed for the level of draft he was drafted at, but 20 and 10 is 20 and 10. So yeah, that it's going to be a tough matchup, but the West just got a lot more interesting. I really need the Clippers to make a move. I need the Clippers to really go all out and try and get Fred VanVleet because they can launch themselves right into that category. Because I don't think Reggie Jackson and John Wall are really the guys to get the job done as the point guard for the LA Clippers right now.
No, not even close. Reggie Jackson's one of the worst point guards I've seen this season. Guys, the Phoenix Suns have done everything right up until this point in the team building process. So, first and foremost, you were a championship material team before this move. You then add in the second greatest offensive player of all time. So Devin Booker, his entire career, has been able to lead the Suns to the NBA Finals, 64 wins, and this season when he's on the floor, 19-11, one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Now you bring in KD, and teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been sitting here at the deadline picking their nose, doing nothing to all these trade assets, sitting in between two timelines, are like, oh, we can't compete. I'm sorry, Memphis. I'm sorry, Zach Kleiman. We talked about this in the summer. Jaren Jackson's good. They had the best big three in the Western Conference until this happened. And now the Memphis Grizzlies are a team looking around saying, oh, shit. Oh, okay. We got to guard D-Book. We got to defend Kevin Durant. We got to defend TJ Warren and Chris Paul in the closing minutes of games. We have to get OG Anunoby right now. And so the ripple effect of this move, the ripple effect of Kevin Durant going to Phoenix shakes up the entire Western Conference because they've got an arms race between New Orleans and Memphis vying for the best perimeter defender in the league in OG Anunoby. One of them may overpay. The Pelicans, talent-wise, from a talent perspective, from a skill perspective, they may stack up, but the Pelicans have no rim protection. They have very little shooting and no two-way wing that you can rely on to close a playoff series. Herbert Jones can't shoot. Trey Jones is too thin to guard some guys, and I don't know if he can guard Kevin Durant. So the Pelicans need a Miles Turner. They also need an OG Anunoby. The Grizzlies, offensively in the half-quarter average. Defensively, their best defender, and Jaren Jackson, gets into foul trouble every other game and plays no more than 26 minutes in the regular season, and he's also often injured. You then look at the Warriors. The Warriors may be able to stack up in theory, but the Warriors may not make the playoffs. So they're out the picture. With Steph Curry out for the next 3 weeks, I'm sorry, the Warriors aren't going anywhere this year. It's over. It was a great run. I'm sure they can be back next season. We'll see where they come out. But if you're the 8th seed going up against the Nuggets in the first round, I'm sorry. I have a tough time seeing you make it back to even the second round, to be honest with you. So the Phoenix Suns made an absolute killer move. And what it reminds me of is Kawhi Leonard going to the Raptors in 2019. With Kyle Lowry and, Dwayne Casey, DeMar DeRozan was a good enough isolation scorer to get them to the conference finals. But when LeBron was in the way, the Raptors were not going to get to the finals. When LeBron left the conference, in this case, it's the Warriors kind of crumbling this season, right? At least this season. That opened up the entire conference. And for the first time in decades, right? We're seeing a West where it's wide open. You had dynasties in the Lakers. The Spurs, the Mavericks, went to the finals twice, and then you had the Warriors, the greatest dynasties in history, the Rockets. The Western Conference in those years had great teams, but there's never a sense of, okay, we can make it out when you had those absolute supernova teams. Now, much like the 2019 Eastern Conference, you have Kawhi Leonard, the big move to the Raptors. You have Nikola Mirotic going to Milwaukee to shore out their rotation, add in an elite shooter. You have Marc Gasol going to the Raptors. You have Jimmy Butler going to the 76ers. Tobias Harris. And now all of a sudden it's an arms race to see, okay, who can actually do this thing. So the Nuggets are the best team in the conference, but Denver still hasn't shown themselves in the playoff crucible defensively. Nikola Jokic, if you toss him on a burly, strong, undersized forward, like let's say Jay Crowder, PJ Tucker, Grant Williams, if you put a thick shooter defender on Jokic and then stuff a rim protector, just playing free safety off of him, kind of anticipating certain passes, the Nuggets offense too, we saw, I guess it was 2.5 Saturdays ago against the 76ers on NBA Rivals Week, it's also vulnerable in some ways too, if you have the right personnel and the proper approach to defending it. So I don't think Denver is so good a contender where the Suns now are not the best team in the West. No, the Suns are the best team in the West now. Before this move, they were top 4, and now you get the one thing you're missing. This was a great move with great patience, smart foresight, and an ambition that was not here in Phoenix before Matt Ishbia came in. When you change ownership, going from one of the worst owners in sports, Robert Sarver, who does nothing right, to an owner that wants to win, is going to do everything it takes to win at the highest levels, it is the biggest competitive advantage in sports. And now, the Suns are arguably the best team in the NBA. So, bravo to that franchise.
Yeah,
Brandon, I know you wanted to go real quick. I remember saying in the beginning of the season, how, well, at least going in the offseason, how the Suns needed, when there was rumors about Kevin Durant, if there was a chance for their window to open again for the NBA Finals, it was now, because it seemed to be closing very fast. As CP3 aged, there was questions surrounding what is Phoenix going to do to elevate themselves. This just that window just got busted open last night at 1 a.m. Wow, I'm still kind of in shock. The Knick fan in me is excited about this, but the basketball fan in me is super excited to watch the Suns play basketball and see Kevin Durant play on a team loaded like this. I'm pumped, man. Brandon, you're up, bro.
Yeah. So I wanted to hit on first off, yeah. I always say there's this, not me, I always say it. I do say it, but there's this great saying out there, you only get one shot at a good first impression. And did the Suns owners make a very good first impression? You want to show that you're about it, and you're going to show your fan base that you're going to do everything you can to win. It's the move you make. So, like John said, bravo to them. This is a way to basically throw a grenade in the middle of the field and say, I just effed crap up, buddy.
Fellas.
In terms of the Western Conference defense, John did hit on it. The Nuggets, for me, struggle when you look at their top three players: Murray, Porter Jr., Jokic, and then even Gordon too. Can Murray and Gordon play defense pretty well? Yeah, but you're not gonna. They're not like these. They're not Pat Beverly or all these really
High
good
level, yeah.
defenders. No, I know what I mean
Yeah.
though. They're not on that level. So defensively, they can be taken advantage of. The New Orleans Pelicans, that has been their kryptonite basically for count the years since they started this new big three or duo with Ingram and Zion. It's always been really, they can score with people. That's not the problem. You can't stop anybody on the other end. That's the problem.
At least we're not sure yet in the postseason, because in the regular
Oh.
season it has actually been a little bit better than expected.
Well, the first they have to actually make some noise to get into
Yeah.
the playoffs. So, and then on the other side, I know we're talking about the West, but on the other side, the East, you talk the West wide open, the East is pretty open too. It's lacking because we see how stacked the West has become. Based a lot of the no. Okay, no, neither you. No,